This is Larry the Barber Man, and today I'm at the CT Expo, Barber Expo in Connecticut. I've been privileged to bump into 360JEEZY all the way from California. This is a very unexpected interview. I have no notes, so I'm going to be going raw with this gentleman. As you know, he has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's a YouTuber just like myself. I met 360JEEZY through Chris Busio, who we've also got on tape. Right. So thank you for taking the time. 360JEEZY.
You having me here, man. I appreciate you being
here. Yeah, it's welcome. So, you know, I know very little about you. Tell me about your YouTube journey right from the very beginning.
Well, as far as being on YouTube, I started with getting waves, and basically I wanted to teach people how I got my waves. There was other YouTubers brushing their hair and having dope waves, and I inspired to get on YouTube through them. So once I got on YouTube, the start was slow. I was using an iPhone 4, and I was recording with that, and slowly just started to upgrade phones. So as I'm, recording my wave tutorials, I thought, hey, why don't I record some haircuts, because I love cutting hair too. So I started recording some haircuts. They got good feedback, but it wasn't as much of a good response as my wave videos. It wasn't until I started taking it serious and I decided to go to school is when, things just changed. I went to school and started focusing my channel more on barbering instead of the wave tutorials, which I was still doing the wave tutorials, but barbering is what I wanted my career to be. So I started just uploading videos throughout my whole journey at school. And, I got a big, huge response from it. But my total success didn't come until after I graduated. I got my license. We opened up Velocity Cuts, and it just took off from there. I mean, grind after grind. I kept putting out videos back to back to back, and currently still putting out videos back to back. And, it's just all about being consistent.
So what you're saying is that your YouTube channel was just growing at average rate or below average rate until the point that you went to school. Right. When you went to school, how much did you document your journey in school?
I documented every single step. Like if there was a cut that came in and and it looked like, oh man, he has nice texture. The people are going to give a good response to this client, because you can't show everything. You can't show all textures, because some textures, people in the comment section, they like to go in and just, nitpick at everything, and it's like you got to pick the right clients so that, you could keep that at a minimum. So I just started, picking out clients that had the nice texture and that I could blend well, and, from there, I just, kept uploading. I was getting good response. I mean, as people were showing me love, I mean, I couldn't help but just, keep that same energy and give love back and tell them how I did it, basically.
So what I need to know, can you remember how many numbers you had just before you went to school and just as you finished school? Because I think what happened, they followed your journey and these became hardened subscribers.
Right. When I first went to school, I had like 3,000 subscribers. On Instagram, I probably had like 1,000. I wasn't really too big. But as I was going to school took me 7 months to finish. But as I'm recording, I was able to get up to about at least 40 to 50,000 when I graduated. But after that, we opened up the shop. I did this one video on how to cut your wolf off. Basically, it's the end of your your 360 wave journey when you grow out your hair and then you cut it all down. It's just like real refreshing when you cut it all down. And that video, I mean, it got like crazy views, like over 3 million now. So that kind of launched me into like, oh man, he cuts hair. Oh man, he makes barber videos. Oh man, it's just the buzz just kept going from there.
Okay, so you said you've got a shop called Velocity.
Right.
Tell me how much time and kind of what percentage of your time you give to the shop and what percentage of your time you give to YouTube, because you know the numbers that you've got on YouTube are insane. So it's like, how do you go into a shop and cut hair with that kind of numbers and that kind of attention that you're getting from your YouTube channel?
Well, okay, it's not my shop. My uncle owns the shop and I'm like the manager of the shop. I just want to make that clear so people don't come in thinking that I own the shop. My uncle owns the shop and we're basically partners. It's basically a family-owned business. We just both look out for each other. But as far as, you know, what was it?
What percentage?
The percentage of time
in the shop and on the YouTube channel.
Basically, I spend 100% of my time at work, and like, I want to say 100% of my time goes at home too, at work. It's like I'm always at work. If I'm not cutting, I'm editing, I'm filming, because not only do I have to like film and give my audience haircuts, I have to give my other audience, which are waivers, my hair tutorials. So it's non-stop. If I'm not cutting, I'm filming the cut, I'm going home to edit the cut, because if I don't rush and go home while I'm inspired, the video would just sit and I would just be like, you know, I'm gonna get it next time. Then I'm inspired by something else, then that video would get pushed off and it's like, dang, I'm editing this one. Then I look at that video like, I don't wanna really, it's just uninspiring having a haircut sit, and you know, it's just something about that. So I have a lot of videos that just sit.
Now I know why I've got so many videos.
Right, it's
sat there doing nothing because I missed the wave.
Yeah, you missed the wave. Yeah.
Too far in the fun.
Missed the wave.
Okay, so tell me how your newfound success has changed your life. From how it was to how it is now.
Okay, how it was, when people first saw me, I was working at a rug company. I really didn't like what I was doing. It was like a dead-end job. I wasn't getting any higher. And I was really miserable doing it. So my uncle told me, look, you need to go to school. And, you know, I took his advice. I stopped working. But the job was going to close anyway. So that was just, you know, I was a rug salesman. Basically, you know, the Oriental rug, rugs, the carpets that you have in your home, that really expensive rugs. We're basically selling those out of Costco, and you know, I was traveling all around Northern California, just you know, in and out of Costco selling the rugs. So basically, I was doing that job. I stopped working to go to school full time, and that just, man, changed my life. I mean, it was hard though. I don't want anybody to think that, oh man, it's easy to do, because I basically dropped everything to go to school, and I lost everything going to school. Basically was homeless at one point. People in school didn't really know. I was, you know, just living over here, living over there, just, you know, really trying to, you know, keep this school thing going, because it's really deeper than just, oh, my uncle telling me to go to school. I have to say that it was God the whole entire time, because we were talking about what we were going to do afterwards, and you know, my uncle was just, you know, talking to me, and he just, bam, it just hit him one day, and it was like, man, that rhema from God hit him, and it was like, you need to go to barber school. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you need to go to barber school. And I was like, you know, he was so emotional at the time. It was like, man, he called his wife, was on the phone with her. I know what we need to do. I know what we need to do. We need to open up this barber shop. At first it was a hair salon. So he told me to go to school. I end up calling. See, it gets real deep, because I end up calling the school and be like, can I, you know, here's my information. She ends up telling me that you got a loan that you had to pay off. because you can't go to school right now. You got to show 6 months of paying on it because, you know, we need to see proof that you're paying, at least trying to pay on this. So I end up, before all that, I was trying to go to the Art Academy in San Francisco to become an artist. So I end up, you know, dropping out. It was too much money. Long story short, I end up calling the loan people, and the loan people was like, yeah, give me your information. Let's talk this out. We could do something for you. So I gave him my information, and it was like, okay, so what do you want to do? I was like, I just want to start paying on this loan. He was like, what are you talking about? I said, I just want to start paying on the loan that I have. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I was like, come on, because at this point I'm like fed up. I'm like, can you just find somebody else that can help me? He was like, you want to know how? You want to know why I don't see anything? It's because you paid it off. And he's saying it just like that, and it was like, huh? He was like, yeah, man, I can fax you over the information and everything, man. It's all good, just, you know. And I'm like, wow, what? So right then and there, it was like a God thing, and I knew that this is what I was supposed to do. So from there, went to school, and I don't want people to think that, you know, when God tell you to do something, the devil ain't gonna throw darts at you. You know what I mean? The devil gonna try to throw any darts that he can. So a lot of stuff happened to me. I was homeless. Man, this is like a pre-sequel to the testimony that I'm gonna share on YouTube. So I don't wanna spoil it all, but a lot of things happened to me to where I had to keep pressing, keep grinding, keep going to school. And with that, like, it just, you know, when you stick to something that you love to do, it's gonna happen for you as long as you stick with it. Because, man, I was down. I could have quit school. Could have just, you know, my life could have went a totally different way. But I stuck with it because I felt like this is what God wants me to do.
Okay. So financially, you're nice now.
Financially, I'm sitting nicely. Yeah, but it wasn't always like that.
No, of course. Well, you've said,
real hard.
you know, you'd go in the barber shop, you'd produce your video, and what people fail to understand, once you produce something, you have to go and edit it.
Right,
and that is where
right.
the pain is. So
Right.
you can, you know, I've been a wedding photographer, you can shoot 1,000 images, but those 1,000 images that you go and produce in minutes can take hours to post edit, you know. So, you know, you're quite right. And what you said is that kept you going and ultimately made you succeed is the consistency and the persistency. So that's a really important thing. You can't just become 360 easy overnight. It's hard work, blood, guts, homelessness, couches, because when you should be working and earning money in McDonald's, you're playing around with videos, and that stops you from earning money. Okay, so your main gig is your waves. We haven't spoken about this. Tell me about waves.
Waves is just like barbering in a sense. I put the same energy that I put in my waves in barbering. Like it takes consistency. You gotta brush, you gotta, on the days where you're not doing nothing, you're watching TV, you gotta put in work, all right? It's nonstop work, and if you want waves that's like, if you just want regular waves, all it takes is you just brushing your hair. But if you want waves that's just like dope, just out of this world, you have to be consistent, you have to be, you know, persistent, you have to brush the same exact way all the time. It just comes down to being real picky about how you want your waves to look, but it's just all about being consistent. I mean, with everything, it's consistency. Everything, my whole come up has been consistency.
Okay, so these waves are only for Afro-Caribbean?
No.
I've never seen a white dude with them.
Anybody could get waves. Everybody could get waves. Now, the catch-22 is if you have that straight hair, you might only have 2 waves. Yeah. You might be able to only get 1 wave, but you could get waves. It's all about letting your hair reach that curl length.
Okay, so you tell me one white Caucasian rap star that has waves, because I've never seen it.
I mean, I have videos. I literally have a video where this Caucasian, I was cutting him in school. Yeah. He was dipping on top. If you guys don't know, he has like a fade. He has like a drop fade with waves on top. This is a pure Caucasian person.
And this is achieved because when I was younger, I used to work on a market stall where we used to sell all Afro-Caribbean products.
Right.
And in order for me to achieve those same waves you have when I had hair, it was done with pomade and the cap. Is that still the
right?
case?
Right. It's the same process. You put the pomade in, then you brush. But a lot of people get it kind of confused that it's. I used to think this too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not exempt from this. The more pomade you put in, the more waves you have. No, it's because I used to have when I used to be in 8th grade. I used to pile on grease, thinking that was the grease that got you waves, and brushing was just to lay it down. That was my thought process, but that is totally wrong. Use less grease and more brushing. It's more about putting in brushwork.
Okay. So where do you think you're going? You're over 500,000 now.
Right.
If you got to 1 million, let's say, which I think is very achievable because you're a Christian man. I heard you speaking about God, and the Bible says, "To him who hath, more shall be given, and to him who hath it not, even that to which he hath shall be taken away." I'm not Christian, but I went to church once, heard that quote, and it resonated with me. With life, it happens on Instagram. The more numbers you get, the more you will end up getting.
Right.
So when you get to 1 million, what would that do for your life? And what do you, where do you see yourself going?
Okay, it's not. I don't care about like the numbers per se, but my ultimate goal is to share my testimony at 1 million. That's what I want to do because I feel like it would reach a lot more people. It would seal the deal, like this 1 million subscriber. Dang, I would love to put out my testimony at 1 million subscribers. That's my goal. It's not to gain money from anybody or to have sponsors or come out with a grease. It's really to share and give back. That's my whole thing.
And talk me through some of the kind of opportunities that you've had as a result of your YouTube success, and in terms of what kind of propositions you've had and what kind of testimonials you get as a result.
Let me show you. I am here with a self-cut system. All right, I am here with self-cut system. Self-cut system flew me down here. That was dope because they didn't have to do that, and it's like they put me on the team early. Also, like they saw potential in me when I was really before I went to barber school. So stuff like that ends up being a plus because you don't normally do things. You get to do things that you don't normally do. Like people will want you over here. Schools will want to fly you out to teach at their school. What else? You get products for free. I mean, all this stuff is kind of a one-up, but you can't. And what I do is I don't focus on that, and I focus more on helping others because when they come up to me and be like, "Man, GZ, you helped me, man," that brings me more joy than anything. Like it's like, "Dang, I really did help you, man. That's crazy. You actually watch me," because on YouTube, I just look at numbers. You know what I mean? I don't feel the love. Oh yeah, I see comments, okay, but it's not like it's only up until I come to these events and I'm like, and people are in their face and they're showing me their true emotion. It's like, dang, I get it now. Like on YouTube, and you look at YouTube, it's just numbers. But when you actually come out to the events, show your face, it's a great feeling.
I mean, it took a long time for us to get from the self-cut system to this room alone without, people wanting to get shots with you and selfies and, thank you and congratulate you. I mean, I get it as well, but obviously you get it 10, 50 times more than I do. So in closing, parting words for that young barber who wanted to achieve the YouTube success that you have, what would be your parting words of advice to him?
I would say do it because you have a passion to do it. Don't do it because of opportunities. Do it because you want to do it. This is you want to help others. You know what I mean? There's a lot of barbers that get caught up in, oh, I want to be flashy like that. Oh, I want to have what he have. I want to drive those nice cars. But that was never my focus. If I'm going to give you something, I'm going to give you my passion and my joy for what I love to do. And that's basically what I want to tell the up-and-coming barbers. Just do it because you have a passion to do it. Don't stop. You know, if something happens in your life that prevents you to, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to prevent you to stop, you know, barbering or whatever it is that you want to do. Just keep at it, you know. Don't let those distractions come and try to tear you down and say, oh man, you can't do it, you should drop up, you should just give up. Nah, keep it pushing, be positive, keep everything positive in front of you. Who would have ever thought, this is, I can't stress this enough, who would have ever thought that I would be 360 Jeezy? When I look back, I'll be thinking, man, like, what if I stopped? Because I could have stopped. And it's like, man, don't stop. Y'all, don't stop. Keep going. Keep grinding. If it's something that you love to do, and it doesn't have to be barber related. It doesn't have to be, you know, if it's something that you are passionate about, just go for it and go 100%. Don't nitpick and play with it. Just go 100% and go hard and give it your all.
So there you go, guys. 360's words of advice to you. You've heard it. He was virtually homeless. He was stressed, he was depressed, and he just stuck at it. He believed in what he was doing, and it prevailed in the end in his success. So I thank you. And one request from the Barber Man, if you can, I want you to close out with the 360JEEZY jingle, please.
360 Jeezy, it's 360 Jeezy, 360, 360, 360 Jeezy, and I'm out.
The Barber Man's never had that.